Thank you, George. I think I can speak from experience with working with George. I've worked with him a number of years. He said all those young people out there, he didn't look at me. I worked with him as a township trustee. I've worked with him as a county commissioner, and I've worked with him as a business person. And I can say that I've never been let down by his efforts, and his message has always been the same: smaller government, a less tax burden on our residents, and provide the basic services that you need to provide, and the economy will take care of itself. And we've been on the same philosophy for a number of years, and I think both of our records speak to that. But it's my pleasure, George, to endorse you. I look forward to working with you, and I know it'll be a successful campaign. I'm glad to be part of it.
Thanks, Don. Appreciate that. Love you, buddy.
You have a higher calling. I can tell you as a Westchester Township trustee, I miss George. It's a privilege and an honor. And you all know, I've said this before, that George is not only my friend, but he's my political mentor. I've learned so much from him. When George tells you something, you can take it to the bank. And you just heard his plan for Business First in Ohio. I've never met a man like George before in my life. He's an amazing person. The things that he's done in Westchester over the last decade and a half as trustee, I have 100% confidence that with his tenacity and your perseverance and your will and your drive and your courage, that you will make happen in the state of Ohio. He was called to be a state rep. Now he's called to be a senator. What a delight. We can expect great things from George Lang. And I can't tell you what an honor it is, George, to call you my friend and to have you in this position. God bless. And it is with great excitement that I endorse George Lang, and I hope you do the same. And I'll tell you what, as an act of symbolism, I'm going to roll up my sleeves. I ask every one of you to roll up your sleeves for George Lang. For those who aren't present, roll up your sleeves. Right? Thank you.
Anybody else? Nancy, you're closest. And if anybody else would like to share why they're supporting me, please just form a line over here.
I am proud and happy to endorse my colleague, my friend, George Lang, for State Senate. I've known George for 15 years. He's been so responsive to my needs at the Treasurer's Office, personally and politically. He's a team player. He's a pragmatist. He gets things done. He works together with other people to get things done. I don't see him as an ideologue. I see him as a great communicator. His backstory, another reason I support him. Humble beginnings from the Show Me State, where I'm from.
Mm-hmm.
He knows hardship, and I won't speak to his upbringing, but he knows adversity, and he overcame them to be a self-made businessman and township trustee. And as a businessman, he understands limited government and the constraints that we need on taxes and regulation. And that's important to me as a CPA. His small business experience and knowledge is what I want in Columbus, representing me and all of us. So I'm proud to endorse you. You're my friend. You've been my friend for a long time. And I'd be remiss if I didn't also mention Debbie. What a great person to have behind you.
Yep.
Anyway,
Thank you,
congratulations and good luck.
Appreciate it.
endorse my friend George Lang for state senator. The very first time I met George was in 1994 when we were both supporting Jim Petro for then state auditor. And George was having a fundraiser, and he started out by, before he said anything else about a candidate, he said, "Please let me introduce the most wonderful woman in the world." And then he introduced Debbie. So from that point forward, I've been in love with him because he's just such a great man. And I think what underscores everything George is saying about business is because when we improve the quality of life for citizens in Butler County, we're improving how people can take care of their families and how they can raise their children. And Butler County is facing terrible times with regard to addiction and how babies are being born addicted. George helped bring back $1.2 million every year to our children's services starting this year in 2019. He will be our partner. He will understand what it means to support children and families. And that is just one of the many reasons I'm supporting you.
Thank you, Cindy.
Good afternoon. I am honored to stand before you all on this great day. Today is a day that starts a journey to bring a true conservative voice to a larger role in Columbus. I have gotten to know Representative Lang over the course of the last several years. His friendship is one that I hold near and dear to my heart. See, George is a great representative. He's a great mentor. He's a great father and a great husband to his beautiful wife, Debbie. But more importantly, he's a way better friend. George's business-first mindset has transformed Westchester Township into one of the top townships in the entire state of Ohio. Money Magazine named Westchester number 38 of best places to live in 2018. That does not happen without great leadership while George was trustee there. As George takes this next step, my prayers are with him and Debbie, as this will not be an easy task. In saying that, George is the only guy I would believe in to win this race to be a great voice for the 4th Senate seat, otherwise known as Butler County. I could go on and on about Representative Lang and his accomplishments, but I do not want to ruin any of the information that he will be campaigning to all of you on. George, thank you for your leadership, your compassion, and most importantly, your friendship. God bless you and everyone in this room. Thank you.
George and Debbie, thank you for inviting me to this great day today. This is what Ohio needs, a tremendous state senator. George brings a no common sense voice to government, which I certainly appreciate. And let's be honest, jobs cover a multitude of sins, and business is what creates jobs, and that's what's going to make Ohio work for us.
That's right.
I am chairperson of the Ohio Recorders Legislative Committee, and many times I'll get a call from a recorder around the state who were telling me they talked to their state rep or their state senator, and their state rep or state senator said, "Hey, we'll do this for you, we'll do that for you." Well, when I call that state representative or senator, the story isn't quite that way. They start talking out of the back of their mouth. So, but one thing I've learned about George Lang over the years, when you sit down and talk to him, you know exactly where he stands. You don't have to walk away and wonder, well, is he going to support my issue or is he not going to support my issue? When you walk away, you're going to know how George feels about an issue. And that's the important thing for anybody, to know how your state rep or your state senator feels on something you're working on. So that's why I'm supporting you, George. You've always been a man of your word.
Thanks,
Thank
Dan.
you.
Appreciate